Well, that's the survivor we all voted on. I remember that. They took the hover effect off though. I don't like that over the names. I like this feature. This is gonna help newer players a lot. And it's gonna help me a lot. I've been playing the game 9 years, and being able to see new killers and stuff that maybe didn't have time to play the PTP and be able to see kind of an idea of what they're gonna be able to do. That's gonna help too. It's definitely gonna help. I took a nap earlier. I was on. I played like crap. I was tired. I took a little bit of nap though. Like a half hour. Raccoon City. Oh, good looking thing. You can see it? Under your thumb? That sounds kind of crazy. How does his screen look? Dude, he's running into the wall. There's no way he cleared that wall. He's huge. Oh, the ceiling. And what the hell is going on over there? Why are there like multiple clones? I need to like investigate this killer more. I might have to buy him so I can figure out what the hell am I looking at. Why is there? Okay. Like, is that like a stop station that he can stop? What the hell? I didn't know he can make it go up. I'm greeting. Did I not have my life? Did he have Mindbreaker? This thing's freaking huge. We're gonna struggle against this guy for a while, man, cause let me see. Oh, I can't even like. Why can't I click and check his power like you normally could? I mean, I can click on here, but usually you can hover over the names too. We're giving them a hook state and empowering yourself at the same time. Cast clone with a power light from above too. I didn't know he could shoot it. Wait, can he shoot it above? Or did it have to be the same? the same what's the word? The same what's the word? Same level. Same elevation. I voted on her. I voted on her. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, we already have Bill, right? Bill's an old motherfucker. We already have Bill. But we didn't have no older female. So I'm like, you know what? Let me vote on an older female, because I don't think we really have an older woman survivor in the game. That's one reason why I voted on her. A lot of people were kind of upset. I think it's crazy that people were upset by people's votes. The same reason, like, I'm not trying to get political, but the same reason we're voting for, like, Trump, Obama, Bush, or whoever you voted for. Whoever wins, whether it's Trump, Obama, whoever won, Biden, they won for a reason. They won because people voted. Well, how can you be, like, upset about that? I don't understand. So what's it mean next on the logo, on your picture, when you have that little ring around it? The only gen that got done is the one I did. And how does he know I'm over here? How does he know where I'm at? And how can he shoot his power up? Wait, he can shoot his power on different elevations? And what the hell is this? The hell is going on, bro? I'm so... Like, what does that do? Where's this person at? Oh shit! I'm like, what the hell's stomping behind me? I thought it was a teammate for some reason. What the? What the fuck? I didn't realize he could down both of us. How much is that? Like, how much is the bundle? a lot cheaper than I thought it would be. Thought it'd be like 12 or something. Honestly, and a lot of people might disagree with me. I don't care. But as a programmer, myself, and many years of doing this, and going to school for it for 7 years, because I had to go for websites and video games separately. I know how much work goes into this stuff. Animations, uh, making the model and everything. Let me tell you right now, this is by far the hardest killer that they probably have done. This is by far the hardest chapter they have done as far as power programming. A lot more code, definitely a lot more code, and I'm saying from experience, I know how all this stuff works. The animation team did a really good job, and the 3D artist models did a really good job. The team that does the characters. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I'm not saying it's to be biased, become a programmer, but this is a still. I expect this to be more. In my opinion, it should be more. A little bit more, at least $12, in my opinion. This is by far the hardest DLCs they have done. And I can guarantee, as a programmer, they know what they're doing, so they probably still really, whatever, but this has been in development for a while. I mean, we voted on this, months ago, right? So, in my personal opinion, it definitely, this killer definitely has the most power out of probably any killer. It's probably the most advanced one that we have. I've been playing this game 9 years. Never did I thought we'd be at the stage where we can have a killer like this in the game. 4 or 5-legged? I don't even know what it is. But the animation team did great. The 3D team did great. But in my personal opinion, so I only code when I can. What the fuck? I don't know what this killer can do, but what the fuck was that? Where'd my teammate go? Did they get sent over to somewhere else? I don't know, bro. I feel like a bot right now. I've been playing this game 9 years. I have no idea what this killer does. I didn't play the PTB. I don't know how to get teammates. They're gone. She's gone. Do we have to go to one of these? What the fuck? Bro, I'm confused. Where the hell did they go? I am really confused right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm so confused. Where the hell do they go? So I'm guessing there's like a couple of those around the map. So I'm guessing we can go to either one. My God, dude. This killer is very, very weird. Not gonna lie. What the fuck? Where am I at? What do I do? What the fuck fuck do I do? What is... What the... Where was I? Was I in heaven? And now they get hooked over here? I'm really confused, bro. And now I'm getting tunneled. I love this game so much. And now he's... Okay. We're gonna get destroyed for a while. I gotta get... It's gonna take a long time for me to get used to this killer. And now I'm getting tunneled. Okay. Well, there you go. We are getting absolutely destroyed. Get out of my way! They should have your teammates spawn further away, cause that's dumb to be able to sandbag you like that. Good hit. Hold on. 2 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, well, hey, don't stress it. Is that network booster working at all for you? Okay. I'm gonna see if I can find some pictures from I had an idea to build a new website because I don't know, I like building websites even just to kind of challenge myself. So 2 days ago I was like, let me see if I can build. I'm gonna see if I can build like an outer space website, like planets and stuff, stars. All right, so I thought about that, and I had no game plan. Usually, I go to Photoshop or GIMP, and I design, cause it allows you to drag and drop, and I just get my colors and everything. I write everything down. I have a game plan, right? Speaking of space, that was funny. Speaking of space, and actually, I actually made this in my website a little bit. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, how the hell am I gonna create um how the hell am I gonna create the stars? And then I was like, how am I gonna make the stars animate? So I started thinking about it because like I went to school for it, but I wasn't exactly sure how I was gonna do it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a div. A div is like a container that we use, or a divider, if you will. And you can take that divider, and usually you can have it wrapped, and you can make it be like a parent or a container of other information. But you can also take it and make a box out of it, blah blah blah. So I took it basically as a box, and I made my little box basically circle, and I made it 1 pixel. That gave me, from a distance, that gave me a star pattern. So it looks like stars. So this is how it looks. And here you go. Now I haven't finished. I didn't finish doing this. I kind of by design liked it to be this close. I like it like this because 8 planets, 42 galaxies are below welcome, and then welcome to the possibility. So I kind of like it crumbled like that. But this was really hard to get. Like this, this design right here, going around the planet, was very hard. And then the moon, hey, don't judge my moon, man. I tried. I mean, I just did this off the top of my head. Okay, this is all on the fly. I did. I mean, and I could make it better. Obviously, I could make some little white little sparkles that make it look like the actual moon. When you get to because I've seen pictures on space and stuff, and they kind of have like the Earth kind of has um like when as you get closer to Earth, you can see the clouds and everything. So I can make it look more detailed. The stars, though, here it is. So I made it where you can't see the stars as you zoom in, so it would give away. It wouldn't look because they're not really stars. I could have used this star and just picked out the background and copied it around. But what I just did, basically they're just circles. They look like stars. You can't really tell, but they're circles. And then I gave it basically a random generation of random dots. So they're all in random spots. As you can see, they're just all random. They're random. Every time it gets redone, they're in random spots. You got one right here, and you have one right here, here, here. They're just some random spots. So I don't know. This ain't my website. I just wanted to challenge myself. This is my website. This is my website. This is my website. This is what I built. Took me 6 months to build it because I want for my Tax Stem Studios, all the updates I release, everyone can see the updates. latest updates. This is all. And then what I'm working on. How long? The progress of things getting out of beta. What I'm currently worked on is this. I gotta improve this. Doesn't look as great. This looks really good. I'm really proud of this. Things that's released or in development, planted, beta, disabled, whatever. Some special integrations. Right here, big announcements. JavaScript is awesome, man. It's very powerful, but it's pretty awesome. This is how I was able to create this JavaScript with HTML. So this is JavaScript. The way this looks, it's basically a grid. So think of this as I guess, just as many rows as you want, and then 2 columns. So if you have 2 rows right here, this would be 2 rows and 2 columns, or 1 column. No, 2 columns. So it'd be 2 rows and 2 columns. That's how I have it set up, I think. And then if it's featured and that's equal true, then this is gonna be up here so everyone can see it because it's nice and big, right? And then you read the full update, and then I write. JavaScript allows me to open this up, nice little window, and then I use HTML to write the code in here of things that's coming. And was it really hard to build? Oh, that button. I messed up in that button though. I don't know. Should I put that? That's bugging me that the button's kind of off center a little bit. The padding or the margin. I need to bring that button up because this is bothering the crap out of me. Is it like that for every button? I don't know if I like that. I don't think that's not what I was trying to do. Things happen sometimes, though, right? And most websites nowadays, they don't use multiple pages. You see, I only have 1 page. We noticed over the years that making it a section helps performance and maintenance. So what I mean by that is everything's on 1 page. Everything's on 1 page, and you can see what you're currently viewing as you go through the page. But you can just snap through the different parts that you want to look at. Everything's on 1 page. Now, eventually, you might get, if you have a lot of pages, you might, run out of dead end. But I've never seen a website that has 20 pages. I mean, they might have a drop-down menu of other pages. Maybe you hover over this one, and it has another drop-down of other pages within that. Maybe. But like this, we have a drop-down menu within a drop-down, I guess, that we can check other stuff out, right? But that's my website. That's actually my website. But then when I want to challenge myself and I think about other ideas, I just try to create it. And I just wanted to create something that was star and like out of space. So I tried that and it worked out pretty well. But now I'm going to try to create, I don't know, I want to create like an old Western map or old Western website. Like I want to try to create something, I want it to give like an old Western style map. Or, why do I keep saying map? Website. So I wonder if I can go to here. I wonder if I can say old. Like, what if we get an old Western saloon that we can make as our background for our home, right? So you see on my home page, you see how this is my home page. You can see it's right here where it cuts off. This would be my home section. So if I maybe, and this is the most important section to me when I build websites as a section, because this is what people are going to see first, right? So I wonder if I can make my saloon my home background, and then we could maybe have another picture somewhere else of other kind of styles. Like you see how there are different colors and stuff. So I wonder, old Western wallpaper. This will look bad. What if we do old? That don't look bad. I want to find something that stands out that we can use. This wouldn't be bad either, because that gives you that old Western. That just looks really cool. It looks like it's, back in the old days. Now, obviously, if I'm making a website, I am not gonna try. I'm not stealing no one's stuff. If it goes online, I'm not stealing anyone's crap. Right? I would ask permission if I'm gonna use somebody else's pictures. We're just doing this for educational and just to challenge myself to see if I can create something that looks pretty nice as to put as an old Western style website. I like to challenge myself. I like to create stuff. I like to code. It's just a challenge for myself just to see how good of an old Western style website I can make. So I'm just looking through pictures, but if it goes online, which it ain't gonna, I'm not trying to actually make a website that go online or whatever. Just challenge. It's just a challenge, really. But yeah, I would either make one myself, or have someone make one, get permission. We're not gonna use nobody's crap around here and get paid for it, obviously. I have an idea for it. We could use awesome fonts too. So I'm gonna look at I'm gonna try to find pictures on my phone, and then when I find them, I'll look them up here. That way, I can play the game while looking for pictures. So, I don't see a picture yet. Trying to moonwalk. How long did it take for these town bugs to go away? How long did it take for them to go away? They're slow as shit. couple links that I'm gonna use. Look, I found some links I'm gonna use. See, it's Google Leap, Gas Stick, or something, and then pre-connect fonts.google leap. So those have Western style fonts and stuff. I'm gonna have to look at them though on my phone, so I make sure I get it right. But I should be able to use that to connect it to my website to be able to call on it. I should be able to. He's so fucking stupid! It takes so long for it to disappear. Like, how long did it take for my fucking telemark to disappear? 20 seconds? What it feels like. I ain't raging, guys. I'm just being serious about it. It does seem like a long time. She on my dick. That's why. She loves that shit. She loves it. She loved that dick like a motherfucking bitch. Dick, yeah. What you gonna do when your wife is fucking me? Yeah, yeah, she love me. Yeah, yeah. I ain't never seen a girl like me so much. Oh, he's tunneling me, sorta. Mind gaming himself? Never mind, I didn't know he knew someone was there. Come on, why are you calling me? Hello? Yo. Come on. Okay, well, I guess I won. Yeah. I mean, I gotta take a shower, but I can wait on my shower if he gets here before I get in the shower. If not, then I can just leave work early if he gets here early. Alright. Bye. Yeah, yes! Okay. Alright, well, if I text you, just pay attention. Alright, love you. Bye. I hate Trickster, dude. I think that his telemarks, how slow they go, I think that should be a little faster. And it's dumb, okay? This is a dumb killer, man. I don't know anybody's like, oh my god, I fucking love Trickster, oh my god. Be on my dick, bruh. She is thick, bruh. She's stroking that meat, bruh. Like a microwave dinner. Alright. I'm not even mad though. I'm chill. I'm just chilling. It's already 6 o'clock. It's all good. It's still sort of early. We could. I don't know what I'm doing. Index. Style. CSS. Java. Script. Dot Java. I think I can copy the name. I think I can just copy the picture URL and use it. Let's call it Dust and Spurs, I guess. Alright. What picture do I want to use? This looks an old type picture. This actually don't look bad. Problem is, it's got a freaking watermark, which, understandably, it ain't going live. I'm not gonna upload to the web. It's just for shits and giggles. That's all. This looks nice. This would be a nice background. I like this. Now, I think I can use a URL, right? Problem is, there's no option for a URL unless I go into copy image link. I should be able to use the image link, right? I try and see. Let's just try and see. I think I can. I don't think I have to save it. I could probably do it like this. Yeah, that works. Or link CSS. Go in to here. Let's make sure this is working first. Body, background, color, green. Alright, I should be able to go into body, background image, URL, and that. Now, it's going to duplicate it, and that's only because I have to go in here and say, like, background image, background repeat, no repeat. I have to go in and say, I think, background image cover, background, is it? Yeah, so basically to make it a background, I think I will need to make it a image, because it gets weird when you start using background. So we to make it a background, we would have to use image, and then we can do more with the image. So I should be able to say, like, should be able to say background. What if I did repeat, no repeat? All right, and then that's not gonna work. What if I did um I'm looking for contain. Background. What if I did Maybe I could do a mid height for it. This is about the size it's gonna be. We'll come back to it. I have an idea. Let me write the other code. I'm not even gonna use the other fonts. Let's just write without the font. I could go to. Yeah. We'll just say no to the. Well, I have the fonts on my phone, the websites, but there's no way for me to copy it unless I view the website, which is I think. You see, I have them on my phone. I looked them up, Western fonts. So this first one is fonts dot google app.com. Google. Okay, I don't see nothing. Let's just go with it. Well, we'll just make our own. We'll just find a good font set work. Okay, so let's see. Let's add. See the home section, hamburger menu. Okay, let's add a header. Class home. Nav. Class. Nav bar. ID. Container for our navigation. Logo. Um, no. Class logo. I was like, what am I forgetting? And then home, right? And then here we can say, well, I could create the logo in here. Instead, what I'm gonna do, let's just add that as a parent, and then we'll add a child inside this. So what we could do is we can create the logo, and then we can make it go back to home when you click the logo. I could get like an old Western type logo. Let's just do, let's do that. Let's do this, and let's create a span. And let's create a logo. Badge. And then in here, let's create. let's create like D and S in here. So let's create D. So we'll create that as our. That don't look bad. So we have amp. That's gonna make it look pretty nice. And we have it inside here. So I'm going off the top of my head. And then I have this as an href home. So when you click on it, it's gonna take you back up to the home like this does. You click the logo area, takes you back home. Now we don't have a logo. We didn't create a logo like we did for my website. I took time on my website. I created this logo. I created the background and put a T in there. It just looks nice, but we'll use text for that. Maybe we can create logo text. And then here we can create a bold. So strong will be bold. We can say dust. And we can create, this is how we get our copyright sign. So when you see your copyright, this is how we get a copyright sign and all that fun stuff. So we can create and it gives us a whole bunch of variations that we can use. But we'll create amps. And that just makes it look really nice. And then we'll say Spurs. So that's going to be in, this is our parent, this is our child. And then we'll create small. I don't want a class. And then we'll say, Frontier. How do you spell Frontier? How do you spell Frontier? Frontier Outfitters. Random name, just a random name. So almost like this, how we have our logo and then we have our attack sim casual callouts, which is what I developed here. This is my mod for GTA 5 story mode that I spent a year working on by myself. I love coding, man, but doing it by yourself. I did have 2 other guys with me in my team. One guy left. The other guy, he's still with me for my attack sim studios, but he don't do much coding. The other guy, when I hired him, when I was paying him and hired him, he claimed that he knew what he was doing and he knew programming, but after I was asking him questions to see what he knew, he didn't know anything. So, like, I think he was using AI. Which, whatever, but don't lie to me because I can teach you. You know, like, I know what I'm doing. I can read all this. I know what all this means and I went to school for it, but, like, don't lie to me, man. You know? Like, for example, this right here. So what we're doing right here is the exclamation point is very important. So that means we're checking if something doesn't exist or something's not true, something's equal to null. So basically what we're checking is if fight has started, because there's no exclamation point, we're checking if fight has started and player has not exited the vehicle, because we have that exclamation point there, and player is not in any vehicle, and it's false, then let's make sure we make that true. So if they haven't exited the vehicle, then let's go ahead and make that true that they have exited the vehicle so we can progress of him giving him a weapon and everything. We don't want to give him a weapon and stuff and run code if he's still in a vehicle. That's going to cause problems, right? Just like if I have exclamation point and equal, that means it's not equal to null, right? So if we have this, it's not equal to null, then that means he does exist. He is spawned in, and if he's not equal to null, then let's go ahead and start writing code for the character, or for our suspect, or for our spawn, or for our NPC or AI character, whatever, right? If we have equal equal, that means it's equal to whatever, right? So once you learn the syntax of what you're trying to learn, everything becomes a lot easier. As right here, this means ped attacker ped. We give it a name equals attacker is equal to 0. Suspect 1 and suspect 2. So we're checking for both of them that is equal to 0. And if attack ped dot exists, then we can clear their task. We can give them an inventory weapon. 1 equals true. So since it's a knife, there's no ammo type, right? So we just gotta give them 1. But if it's a gun, then this is where we input the total of ammo count that we want them to have. But since it's a knife, we'll just put 1 for true. And programming 0 is false, 1 is true. And then we'll fight against us, the player. We have a Boolean variable. We'll go ahead, that's false by default. We'll make it true. And then we'll give the player a notification that they are being attacked. So once you learn what all this means, or especially the syntax of things, it's pretty easy. But this is C#. Microsoft makes this. So it's not really that hard. But this is a website, so I've been doing websites a lot longer. I just don't know what I want to do with it because we're just going off the top of our head. So we could do our mobile menu first. Something don't look right here. Oh. There we go. We need that whole thing to be a link. So we can be able to click on any part of the logo area, like we can here. Any part we click here, it's considered our logo. So we'll have this whole area be clickable. Now we'll do comment, and we'll say we'll do our mobile, cause we're gonna do our mobile menu by scratch. So like hamburger menu website. We'll be creating this by scratch. And what we'll do is we'll use a button. We'll use a button. We'll name it menu dash button, and then we'll say ID menu. We can't have no spaces, so we'll do menu button for JavaScript, and then we'll do ARIA dash label, and then we'll say this label is gonna be open navigation menu, and then ARIA dash expanded is equal to false, right? And then here, this is how we're going to be creating our hamburger menu. I'm updating my internet from 1 gig to 5 gigs. It's going to be so quick, dude. Let me see how much. See how good it is right now. Wait, try the 5. We'll be getting the 5G tomorrow, and it's gonna be so much quicker. pretty fast, but the 5G is gonna be even faster. All right. Now we gotta create our nav links. So I've done this many times. Nav links are my favorite thing to do. The navigations are my favorite to do. So I always start from the top and work my way down to the footer when I'm making a website, and then and then I always work my left to right. So I'll start here, do the logo, then I design the links and the hover effects, and then a button if I want a button, and then I have for mobile devices, and I'll have this. And then I used to do 2 sets of links, one for desktop, one for mobile. But now I take the same links and I just design these to make, take those from vertical, and then when it gets to mobile devices, or when it hits that pixels of when I want it to be for mobile, then I just take them from down here, drop them down, make them vertical. So I used to do 2 sets of navigations, but now I just use the same ones, and I just design them that way. So we'll say and then here we'll say div. So a div is a divider. We can use that for container. I use the div to make my stars. So you can use a div for literally everything. You can make a box. You can make this box like I did. I made this box out of a div, or you can make it a container for links. You can use these divs for anything. So I use them for a container a lot to contain information. So we'll use a class for Java CSS, and then we'll get an ID that we'll use for our for our JavaScript to make them work. So we'll use that, and that making the ID allows us to be able to show the menu in JavaScript when you click on it, and then we use the class to be able to design it. So we'll create an anchor. We'll say home, and we'll say home. All right. Create another anchor. This would be we'll say story, and then we'll say our story. I don't know. Then we'll say rides, like the wagon rides or something. I don't know. Trail rides, wagon rides. Hey hi, wait, hey hi. Is that what it's called? Hey hi, hey rides, hey rides. So we'll say trail rides, and that could be our links. Oh shit. Oh shit. Is it 2 L's? Or is it 1 L? I think it's 1 L. Um. Um. I think I messed up. Something don't look right. Let me take it. Sometimes I just overlook things. Ah, I see it. I did. That's supposed to be all in here, because if not, none of this stuff will be inside our with everything else. So that looks right. Um. Um. What's next? Let me think. What should we add next? Okay, DNS All right, let's add a home content. So we'll add that. I guess we'll add that in the header. Yeah. So we'll add that in the header. This would be like the header section. I don't know what to name it. Let's just name it whatever. Container. Eyebrows. Eyebrows. I don't know. Name it random shit. And let's say, we could probably put this in the span too. So we can design the parent. This would be our parent, and then we can get a span that'd be our child. And then we can, I don't know what to do with this. Let's just leave that blank for now. And then let's say West Texas. West Texas. H1 ride N2, and then we'll do a line break, and then we'll say line break. Italic. We'll get description. Leave the noise behind. I could just do dummy text, but let's see. Fine, wide, open, country. Leave the noise behind. Find wide, open country, or county, or country. Honest. Honest. Adventures. Adventures and the untamed spirit of the American West or American County. Okay. So that's just some text. What else should we add? This is the boring part. This is the part that's gonna look like shit. I mean, if you take my website, for example, and you go into here, and you take away my CSS, this is how websites look when I'm designing, which is the headache part. It's annoying. It looks like shit. But once you add everything in, and you start styling it, because your HTML is like the structure of your house. Think about it when you're building a house. You got your structure, and then when you get to your wall colors and everything, that'll be your CSS. And then when you get to your electric, your plumbing, everything, that'll be your JavaScript. That's your functionality of things. That's how I explain it to people. I've been doing this a long time. I went to school for it, but usually I have a game plan, and usually I go to Photoshop and I design what I want, but I have no idea how this is going to look. I'm just trying to see if I can create something that looks like an old Western 1800s style saloon website. I have no idea how this is gonna turn out, but we're gonna try to keep it simple if we can. So this is my container. Um, let's get an anchor. So a tag is anchor. That's how we create links. And we'll say button. Let's say rides explore. How you spell explorer? Is that how you spell explorer? I think so. Explore adventures span and can we get a right arrow symbol? Here we go. Put that in here. And that can be pointing towards this. So we're gonna put it on this side though. Maybe. Okay. That should be it for the header. Let's just let me make sure that's working. Alright, let's just do that for now. Let's just do our navigation bar and then our home section. Almost like this. How this is our home section. Let's just work on that for now. So I can start designing it and see how it's gonna look. Oh shoot. Forgot to pick up my medicine. Well, how long do I got until I pick it up? I can pick it up for Friday. I forgot to pick it up. Shoot. Alright, so we're gonna go in here and we're gonna put a star, okay? What this does is this websites, so I can just leave a comment. So removes we'll just leave that for now. So the star removes, so you see how this is to the right? It's not up against the left. So browsers have default padding and margin. So we can put a star and we can say, hey, for the whole website, remove padding and margin. So now it just removes everything. So whatever we add in is what we add in. So it crumbles over to the side. Alright. And now we're gonna create some variables. So we can keep calling the colors. So I have a couple colors that I think would work. They're like kind of like a gold color. We'll have a darker color for the section. So how do we create variable colors? Well, we go in here, we say root. So that allows us to store data of colors that we can name and we can call the whole time that we want to call it. So I did it for my website as well. So if you go onto my website, here we go. So this is the root, and these are colors I picked out for my planet information. All these colors that I went and messed around with that I liked. For my buttons, I picked out a red, hover effects, and I can now I don't have to keep typing out these colors. I can just type in the number dash dash primary boom gives me this color. Primary hover gives me this color. So, and then I did the same thing for border. So, because I knew I was going to use these colors a lot, especially for the buttons and the hover effects and the backgrounds. And I also do this when I'm creating a website that has a button that you can make it go from dark mode to light mode. So I'll go in here, I'll create a dark mode background stuff, and then I'll create another variables that have white, like white background and black text, so I can go. It's easier. It's just easier to make website colors when you have variables. I don't do it all the time, but if it's a big website, I'll do it. But let's just do it for this case. So we'll say website colors. And this is actually one of the first things I learned how to do when I was in school, was the variables, because they're pretty helpful. So we'll say dash dash, and this is how we name it. So we're naming it right now. We start with a dash dash code. Oops. And then we'll use a hex color, and 2D9B4D I think is gold. I'm pretty sure it's gold. Is it? It's close enough, huh? Oh, it's close enough. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then we could do like, I'm thinking like a creamy color. We'll have to play around with it. And that should give us a whitish, creamish color. And then we'll have to do like maybe dark or black. Let's just say dark. And then we could do, that would be black, I think. Yeah, so that's black. But I have another color that might be black, but a lighter black. I think that is like a black, but it's not it's dark. So let me just see how that looks as a background. Now I can call on that variable, so I can go to background, I think, variable, dark. So now I can call my variables, so we can check out these. So that's kind of like a darker, that's kind of like an old western dark color. We can go cream, that looks nice. And then gold. Here we go. So those are our colors, those are our variables, they work. Not sure how it's going to turn out. I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, I know what I'm doing coding wise, but I have no idea what I'm trying to make, but something. Challenging myself. Now what do I do? Where do I go now? I guess HTML. Let me leave a comment here. So we'll say smooth scrolling. Smooth scrolling when links are clicked. So what this does, HTML, I think it's called scroll behavior is smooth. So what this does is when you click a link, how it scrolls up and doesn't just snap. So without that, it would just snap to the section. It instantly just snap. See how it scrolls? That's what that does. So I know where all this does. It's just remembering sometimes, because it's a lot of code sometimes and it's hard to remember some things. But I usually end up figuring it out after I just sit there and just look at it for 2 hours. So now we'll go get a background. Background or background color. Let's just grab a background color. They both do the same thing pretty much. And then font family. Here we go. So font family, let's just do our normal. I don't know. I don't have any Western fonts. I don't have it imported in. Now I could go in here and say color white. You know, make everything white. But let's just leave that. We're gonna do something else for that. All right. So let's go grab our anchors. Let's go ahead and say color. So that's gonna blend in with everything else. And then text decoration to none. That's gonna get rid of these little underlines. Um. Okay, let's do for our content. Keep content. So we have this is all of our content. So this is what this is gonna do is so I'm gonna leave a comment for myself. Keep content centered without touching the screen. And then we have I think we named it container, right? So it'll be this. And that has yeah. So width, mid, no. I think it's mid. I think it's that. And we'll say for desktop we'll do 60 pixels. So 1,160. And then we'll say. So we need to make sure it's always center. 100%. So 100. So 1100. 100%. Dash. We can try 48 pixels. And then margin. We could do margin inline. So I should keep it center. But what if we do let's just leave that as a container for now. We're gonna do something else with that. All right. Now we can design the background. We have our image that we're gonna use. I think. Yeah. We're gonna use that picture. Let's just make that as a comment. So we're gonna start working on our home section. All right. So what do we want to do with this? So we'll say mid height because I want it to be a mid height. I don't want it to stretch, right? We'll say viewport height. So VH is viewport height. So depending on the browser, whether they're on iPhone, desktop, it's going to adjust automatically. And we'll say color, var, cream. Let's try cream. Instead of white, we'll do cream. Background, we could probably do a background linear. gradient. And then we'll have to do, let's try 90 degrees. So 90 degrees. So let's try 90 degrees, RGBA. What the hell? Okay. Now, we'll try for green or for red. Let's try 27 for green. Try 16. 16 for blue, and then for the alpha, we'll do 0.92 RGBA. So we'll do 3 colors. So they're gonna kind of connect together. So we'll do 27 again, maybe. Well, we'll have to play around with these values. Let's just do the same thing that we have up here, but let's try to bring the alpha down a little bit. So let's do like 0.58. So let's bring that just a little bit darker. And we'll do one more. And then we'll do the same thing. So we're gonna make this, let's do the same color. It should be like a darker color. But let's again bring this down to 15. And then let's it gets very complicated when you start to deal with colors. Alright, so let's do 55% of that. So you notice how it's kind of making like little stretch marks? Then what we're going to do here is we're going to say URL. I think I already commented the picture. Why is it not letting me? Oh, background position. So background position. So it's see how it looks. So what I did with these colors, without these colors, the picture is too bright, right? And well, yeah. So it's kind of hard to explain. So basically, you see how bright the picture is. That's all that does. So I kept the color the same, which gives you that dark color. But then the alpha is what makes it darker, because I want it to be darker. But I'm having issue. Well, let's just try. Let's see. So background position. So we need to make it look better. It's obviously duplicating. So we'll do center. We'll make that center. And then we'll do background size cover. And then we'll do background repeat. No repeat. And I just now realized it has a watermark. Fuck it. Fuck it, bro. It's not going live anyways. Alright. What next? My favorite part, I think. The navigation links. This is my favorite part. These are our nav links right here. We only have 3. I could have did a contact, but we'll do a contact later. So let's do navbar. I think that's what I named it. I always make it navbar. Yeah. So, like I said, we're using the classes to be able to use for CSS to style, and then we can use the ID container or the IDs for JavaScript. Like to make my button work for my menu, we would use menu button in JavaScript. We would use this. This is for us to style it, This is for JavaScript to make our button, open up our animate whatever we're trying to do, the functions of stuff. All right, so first thing we're going to do is say position relative of our content. And then we'll say z index is 10, so it's always at the top of everything else. It never can get behind something. Height 105 pixels. So we'll give it some distance between so this is like our home section, so we don't want that to be in the navigation area. So we'll try to bring some separation of 105 pixels. And then we're not going to use grid. I try to use Flexbox. Flexbox is hard to describe what it does, but basically it can space content evenly. So since I have a logo right here, Flexbox, when I use space between, it's going to put my logo over here, my nav links over here, and then a button over here. So it's going to space everything out. So we're going to use display flex, and you can see everything's starting to come together. This is my button, don't worry about that. Align item center. And then we'll do justify content, space between. And there we go. So there's my button. That's going to be our hamburger menu. There's my nav links, and then here's my logo. So that gives me room to work with. But this is actually going to be over here. We're going to put this probably over here. So, and then we'll say border bottom, 1 pixel solid, RGBA. And then we'll do, so for the red, green, blue, and alpha, what we'll do is, let's just do straight colors in all of them. But the alpha, let's just do 0.22. And then, I'm not seeing a border bottom though. I don't know, where did it go? Ah. Ah. There we go. I'm about to say, I don't see it. Alright, so we'll start with the logo first. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, man, but it's looking good. It's looking alright, but we got a lot of work to do. So let's do our logo, which is our logo up here. Let's say display flex. We don't have to do, well, let's separate our logo from, so this is pretty much our whole logo, but this is really our logo. We need to separate that from each other. Let's first do align item center and a gap. We'll use a gap to separate it about 16 pixels. So a gap is how we're going to separate things when we use display flex. But we can use display grid too. I use grid a lot. So we can do grid, but I like using Flexbox. Pretty nice to be able to style things a little bit differently. Now we could try to put, so this right here, I think I named it logo badge width. So let's give it some width, height. And then display. So let's use a grid. I think I want to use a grid for this, only because of how close they are together. I think it's going to make more sense. I could use Flexbox, but grid and Flexbox almost do the same thing, besides grid is a grid, right? So let's just try grid. And then we'll say align item center. No. That's not right. I think for grid, it's been a while since I used grid. I think it's place items center. Yeah. Okay. And then we could do a border, 1 pixel, solid, var. Border, 1 pixel, solid bar, transform, rotate at approximately 45 degrees. Does that kind of look like a diamond? I'm trying to go for a diamond shape. Yeah. Trying to go for a diamond shape, but I think that looks good. That's 45 degrees. So if you take a box, you rotate it, where this edge is at the bottom, that would be 45 degrees. That's how I knew. I mean, you learn all that in school too. They teach you degrees and stuff. And usually you can just judge it. You can, if you're not sure, if it's not looking right, you just play with the number. Oh, maybe I don't look right. 40 degrees. Oh, I definitely don't look right. 100 degrees, right? But obviously, it looks worse when you start getting more extreme with it. You have to rotate. Maybe use some kind of another term of rotation. All right, so let's do um hmm. So let's make a comment to ourselves saying um DNS, and then let's say another comment. So we got our diamond shape. So I knew I was gonna create a diamond. I knew I was gonna create some sort of something like I did for my website. You see how I created my logo that I put T in here for my TaxSim Studios. So I knew I was gonna create a logo of some sort, but I wasn't sure what I was gonna create. But I was like, you know what, a diamond makes sense. But I thought about this ahead of time because when you add a background like this around the text, you want to be able to put the text back to normal, right? Well, there's only one way you could really do that. You have to give the text its own tag. So if you see, if I go back into my HTML, I have I have my DNS in a span tag. So I can call on that span tag to rotate this back to normal. That's not going to interfere with my actual logo because the logo is the parent. You see what I mean? So basically, yeah. Okay, so I have an idea. So let's do dot logo. So let me double check. So yeah, so we're gonna call our logo badge, and then we'll call our span, and that should rotate it back to normal because we adjusted this. So DNS, yeah, so it's that right there, but then we have, so what we can do, yeah, DNS, so we should be able to call on our span, logo badge span. Yeah. So we okay. That's what we did. So yeah, we called on our logo span. We made a grid, place item center, get a border. So the border is what we created, and then we rotated the border. So as you can see, so that's what we did. I was confused for a second because I thought we had another tag, but no. And then we just rotate it. So dot, we should be able to say dot logo badge span, and that should allow us to rotate everything back to normal. So let's do color white. And then do font family. Let's do um do we have this color or this? Do we have RYE? I don't think so. Um Font size 22 pixels. And then we'll say transform rotate minus 45 degrees. See, that's not working. Why is that not working? What if I do what if I do the hell? Okay. I thought that that's giving us issues. See, that works, but then it takes it back. It doesn't look like a diamond anymore. So, um, let's just. Damn, what the fuck did I just do? Something's not looking right. Where am I fucking up at? Fuck. That's logo text. So why is that getting adjusted? So logo, home, logo badge. So I have a solution. If I can't get this to work, I'm gonna think outside the box. We're having issues. Text from text her about. Let me think about this. My mom and them went to the movies. All right, so we're having issues, man. This happens to the program all the time. I'm stuck. I'm stuck right now. I don't know why he's doing that, but I have a solution. I have a solution. So the solution is that I make another span, name it different, and that's gonna be for the text only, and then we'll have the other span that contains our our diamond. That's my solution because this should be working, and it works, but it's not rotating this back to normal. You see what I mean? And that's just not doing nothing. So here's what we're gonna do. We'll try it because it's giving us issues. So let's go. Let's take this. Take that out. Leave the diamond there. Let's create another span. Make it a class of logo, logo, dash, we'll say logo, dash icon, dash text, and then we'll put that into here. Okay? Shut up! Now what we'll do, copy that. Okay, so that is going to work. So I think what we can do, I don't want it, so let's do that. Let's take away this. Okay? Okay, we need to put that back in here. So we could position that to the left. Right? So let's see how there's many let's try position absolute. Position absolute, and then there we go. You gotta think outside the box sometimes, man. So position absolute is going to unlink it from this and put it back over here. That looks good. I don't know why I couldn't get it to work the other way. Now we don't even need this now. That's trash. So we just made another one and named it something else, and that way we know for sure it's unlinked from the diamond because we just took the border out. Because as you see, I can go in here and say border, 1 pixel, solid, var, gold, right, and it gives us a border, and then you just transform, rotate, and you just make it 45 degrees, right? But it would rotate the text too. which is what we don't want. Just like if I was to go in here and say translate or transform, rotate 45 degrees, right? So we just made it separate. So now this is separate from this. I couldn't get it to work for some reason. The other way around, calling the logo, badge, and then our span. So we had to think outside the box. Now, let's work on this. Now, the reason I made Spurs, because this is designed around Texas, right? I love Texas. Been to Wimberley. I rented a cabin up in Wimberley. It's got cabins and hot tubs and balconies, and you're up in the middle of the mountain, way up in there in the mountains. It's so much fun, dude. Oh, so I love Texas, man. So let's do dot logo text display flex. Display flex direction is going to be column. Text decoration is going to be, no, it's not text decoration, is it? Text, no. Text, uppercase. And then letter, no. Yeah, I guess we could bring the letters out a little bit more. We can space them a little more, I guess. So let's just do 0.14. That looks nice. Oh, that looks real good. So now I'm trying to think, because I go in order. So as you see, I go in order, right? I start up here at the home, go down to navigation, go down to logo, went down to here, went down to here. Now we're down to here, and now we're going to call this. So I try to go in order, and then once we get down here, we do our navigation links and our menu, our mobile. So I try to go in order. I just try to remember the name. So we're going to be calling these two now. So our strong and small. I just try to remember. Dot logo text. So the dot logo text is our parent. So you can see it is our parent, and then we're gonna have to call on which one we want, because if we call the parent, that's gonna do what we did here. That's gonna call both of these. We don't want that. So we'll say, hey, let's call on logo.text or logo.text, and then let's call the strong tab or tag. Now, how we call classes and IDs, and IDs in JavaScript, use a dot, or in CSS, use a dot to call the class, use a hashtag to call the IDs when you want to call an ID. So we're calling classes, so we're going to use dot, and we're going to be calling on the strong tab. We're going to say font family. I'm not sure if it has this one. I know this one's a country one, because I've used it before, but I don't have it imported, so I don't think it's going to work, but this is a good one to use. And then the common one is this one. So it does look like it's working. It looks like an old Western. It looks like it works. I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know. It looks good. And then we'll say font size is 14 pixels. Should be brought down a little bit with a letter spacing of 0.8 em. Now for this one. So we did that one. For this one, we'll say logo text. I think it's called, it's called small, I think. Is it? We use small? Yeah. Small. And we'll say margin top, because I want it to see how close it is to this one. We don't want that, so let's just say 5 pixels. Let's bring that down just a little bit. And then the color, we'll say D2B6HC should be a common gold color. And then we'll do a font size of 8 pixels. We'll bring that one down a little more. So, and this little thing right here is going to be what we're going to design our hamburger link with. That's how I design these little hamburgers lines for mobile device. Is I use a span and I create it from scratch. Uh, what's next? Let's design our desktop. Navigation links. We'll say display flex. God. What am I doing? .nav links display flex. Those already lined up anyways. We'll give it a gap. So there's 38 pixels between each link. Font size, we'll try 11 pixels. It's a little small, but we'll go with it for now. But we'll make font weight 700, so it's gonna be really bold. Pretty bold. Text, transform uppercase. So we'll give it uppercase. And then letter spacing to kind of bring out the spacings a little bit. We'll do 0.18. Now we have to call our anchor tags. So we design the way they look. Now we have to call the individual text. How do we do that? Well, we want to give a translation to it or a transition to it. So we'll say nav links A. Now we're calling our nav links and then our actual anchor tags. Transition color, and I think it's gonna be 0.2 seconds ease. Okay. Now we have now we have to give it a hover effect. Hover effects are my favorite. So nav links A, and this is a suitable. This is a suitable right here. And a color bar gold. And you see how it transitions? It don't just snap to the color because we added this. If we take away this, it just snaps to the color, right? So we add a little transition to kind of give it a nice delay of effect. We could also do transform scale 1.1. And that kind of just pops out the links a little bit. Don't worry about that. I can disable that, but we're not going to use that. Or we could also do background color black. And that kind of just, we could add a padding of like 12, 18, 10 pixels or whatever. And then we could say border radius 18 pixels. We could do all kind of stuff with it. But for now, we'll just go ahead and do that. That looks good. Now for our button. Navigation link. think I forgot to create a nav button. Let's go ahead and try to do our hamburger menu. We'll do display flex for now. Background. Wait, 28 pixels. Six pixel background color. White. Transition. Transform. 0.3 seconds. Opacity. How do you spell opacity? Shit. Opacity. I've been having problems getting it to show. I don't know where the hell it's at. Okay. This has been giving me issues. Hmm. There we go. And then play around with it. So I think the gap will may go down here, huh? No. There we go. 9. View width. Font weight. Line height. Let's do a line height of. Bring it up a little bit more. Hmm. Stop. Shut up. Not going outside right now. case. Transition. A9 A9B565. Hold on. Now, for mobile devices and tablets. I don't know if I like that big screen, but for now. I think that's gonna be it for now. Pick up tomorrow. Peace out.